Hey, so for this Digital Friday, you are making a digital model of your plans. To start out, you're going to need SketchUp, and you're also going to need your plan of your after school hub, which should already be uploaded into your classroom folder. So when you go to SketchUp, go to Create New, and then over here, give it a name right away. So you can call this your name, Digital Model After School Hub, and hit Save. Okay, at this point you need to import your plan. So you're going to make sure you download it first. So I'm going to right click on the image, hit download. And then when I go to SketchUp for Schools, I come to the three lines over here. I go to import my device, click on my device, and then make sure that I'm uploading this JPEG of your plan. Hit open. And I'm going to import it as an image. So I can click anywhere, and then I'm just going to estimate about how big I think it is, and click again. So now you can see my plan within the SketchUp space. Before we do anything else, we want to make sure it's the right size so that we can start to trace this. You need to know at least one dimension on your floor plan. Ideally, it's something pretty big so that we can get everything approximately right. I know that I drew from this point to this end of my building should be 20 plus 10 plus 20. So this should be 50 feet from here to here. So I'm going to go ahead and scale it to that whole wall distance. So to scale it, I'm going to select my drawing. I'm going to go to the measuring tool. And then I want it to have a purple dot on it like that. I can zoom in and out using my middle mouse button. I'm going to click on the corner. I'm going to make sure it has a red line on it so I know it's nice and straight. I'm going to click all the way to the other corner, and I'm going to type in 50 apostrophe in order to get 50 feet. You'll notice that it shows up in the lower right-hand corner, and then I hit enter. And it's going to ask me, do I want to resize the model? Hit OK. So now this should be at the correct scale, and I can double check that. So I can measure from here to here is about 8 feet. That sounds right. My door should be in the neighborhood of 3 feet. So if I look at this door, that's a large door, that's 3'6". How about this one? That one's 2'11". So that's about 3 feet. So it's not all exact because these are hand drawings. So sometimes things weren't exactly drawn, but it should be about correct. Okay, so before I do anything else, I want to lock this. So I'm going to right click on here, hit make group, and that's just going to keep me from accidentally altering it. And the second thing I want to do is add some transparency to this plan. So to do that, I'm going to come over to the right bar here, click on Styles, and then I'm going to click on this Edit button. And under Face Settings, I want to click on X-Ray. And you'll notice that makes it look like trace paper so that I can see what I've already drawn and what I haven't already drawn. And then I hit Done. Okay, so now I'm going to start tracing. This building is 3 bars, kind of. It's this bar, this kind of cube, and then it's this glass bar on top. So I'm going to draw those as big masses to start with. So I'm going to grab my pencil, start here, and I just want to make sure that that green line is showing up if something is along that edge, that red line is showing up if it's along that edge. So that's just helping me draw nice and straight. So I have my first mass. I'm going to use the push-pull tool in a second. I'm going to make my second mass over here. I can make sure it's aligned. You can see a little red line popping up. It should be red. I'm looking for the green. Same thing here, looking for the red. Looking for the green, and that closes that off. And then this middle space, I can just draw the outsides of it, and it should fill itself in. Okay, so to get this offset of the wall thickness, I can use my offset tool. So I'm going to come here to my offset tool. If you don't have it, click on the 3 dots and you can find it in this menu. I'm going to click on here. And then I'm going to kind of bring it in some and then type in 1 apostrophe for foot and hit enter. I'm going to do the same thing on this one, hover over it, come in, type 1 apostrophe foot for enter. And then I'm going to bring those walls up using the push-pull tool. And I'm going to bring them up 10 feet. You will make that whatever height your floors are. Okay, so now I have the big overall outside of that. I want to add in ceilings on these, but I'm not going to do it yet because once you add ceilings, it gets hard to see the inside. I'm also going to add in my interior walls. So I'm going to trace those the same way. Using my pencil tool, I would bring that across. And then I can go ahead and even use my rectangle tool when appropriate to draw in those spaces. Okay, so once I have those in, I'm missing one for the stair here, so I'm going to put that in. Okay, once I have that, I can grab my push-pull tool again. I can bring that whole wall up as well, up 10 feet. Okay, so now I have a beginning of here. I don't have these walls in yet. These are glass walls, so they're going to be very thin. So instead of offsetting it a full foot, I'm just going to come across to make a much thinner wall. So I'm going to select this line with my arrow tool, type in CO for copy. Does that work? Oh, no, sorry. Do Control C and then Control V. Hang on 1 second. I got stuck in the circle tool. Okay, so if I select the arrow, select the line, type in Control C, Control V, then I can bring this in just a little bit. And I can do the same thing on this end. For now, I'm going to leave this alone. There are doors in here that I want to represent, so I'm going to draw in some lines to represent them. And I'm going to bring this up to 10 feet, this up to 10 feet, and this up to 10 feet. I'm going to group this whole center section. So to select it, I'm going to grab my arrow tool. Select in that middle part. To deselect something, you just hold down Shift. So if I want to get rid of some extra pieces I selected, I can do that. Okay. And then I can right click on here and make this a group. And then if I take it, I can copy the whole thing to make the other side. So, and actually I can right click and make this a component would be better, make component. Okay. So I can Control C, Control V, and I can bring that across to the other side and make sure it's right on that edge. So now, if I wanted to change this to glass, for example, I would double click on here, select everything in there, and then go to my materials palette. And I could look for glass. And that'll make that whole piece glass. I want to show you how to do some doors and openings. Okay, so I have a large opening here. To put that in, I'm going to get my pencil tool, draw in the two edges of the opening. Then I get my push-pull tool. I might need to roll around to the bottom in order to get that face, but then once I have it, I can bring that up, type in 7 feet, and hit enter. It looks like it made a extra surface here, so I can just delete out that surface, and then I can look into my space from there. I would do that for each door. If a door has a panel in it, so let me do one of the bathroom doors, for example. I could draw in where the door is here. I could then bring this up. So again, you might have to roll around to the bottom to grab it. So that made the hole of the door. And then in here, I can draw what the door panel itself looks like. And then I can bring that up. So that gives me the kind of indent of the door. So I would go around and do that for all of my doors. When I'm ready to do stairs you're going to draw in this way. You grab your pencil tool, you come over to the stairwell where they start, come to the edge, and you want to go up, so it should be blue. Type in 7 inches. And then you want it to be green coming this way. Type in 11 inches. And then just keep going. So 7 inches, 11 inches, 7 inches. The important thing is to make sure that the green and blue arrows are showing up. Otherwise, it might not work. Okay. So once I have that surface, I can bring this out 4 feet. And that'll be my stair. I think I actually have my stair at 3 feet, so I can bring that in a little bit with the push-pull tool. So I would go ahead and do the whole stair that way. For second floors, you can see on here I have where the second floor is drawn, but I don't have it modeled in yet. The first thing I want to do is put a roof on these. So to make sure that my roof doesn't interfere with what's already here, I'm going to group everything I have. So I'm going to select everything here, right click and hit group. Make group. Okay, so now in order to edit this, I would have to double click in to edit it. To make my roof, I'm going to trace around the outside of this. And it should click to all those points. If you notice, it's turning into a circle anytime it clicks on those points. I'm actually going to have my roof come over here to make a little awning. And then once that's done, I can use my push-pull tool and bring this up 1 foot. And again, I want to group that top piece. Okay, so if you have a second floor, what you can do is you can build the second floor over here the same way you were building that last thing. So I'm going to go ahead, trace this in. I would bring this up. The space is going to be taller, so let's say the space is 12 feet, and I can go ahead and add detailing here later. I'm going to make this a different color just so we can see it better. So we're going to pretend this is also some kind of glass. Maybe it is a translucent glass with a sky reflection in it. Okay, so this whole thing I'm going to select and make into a component. And what that's going to allow me to do is place it on top of here while still being able to edit it. So I'm going to now copy this, so Control C, Control V. I'm going to just place it down for a second. I want the corner to align with where I have it aligning on my floor plan. So I drew in dotted lines where it should align to. And then I'm going to bring it straight up so that it's on the second floor. So now that I don't have to try to work in this while I'm also looking at the bottom floor plan, I can come over onto the side, double click in here, and then I can keep adding detail and it'll show up in the other one. So for example, if I wanted to draw in a column that's here, and let's say I'm going to do round columns, so I can get a circle from here, make sure I'm on the edge here, I can bring this up, and say that whole thing, actually let's Control Z that. I'm going to make this another group. Okay. And then I'm going to make those circle columns so that I don't get messed up by that. So we can get my circle column. It's going to be centered here. I can use push-pull to bring it up. And then it looks like I have a bunch of these. So I'm going to right-click, make this a component as well. I'm going to change the material on that to be black so we can see it better. going to Control C, Control V, and I can bring it over to here. I want to make sure I'm really on where I think I am because it's really easy to mess it up. So Control C, Control V, and then I can also use the Move tool. So I click on the Move tool and hit Control. It'll automatically start copying it. So even though I'm working on this one, you'll notice it's also made the changes to that one. So that, I don't want to spend all of your time watching this video, but that's a few of the ways that you can start to make your building into a digital model. So you are putting the floor plan in, you're scaling the floor plan, then you start to build the walls out of the floor plan, and you start to add in the details where you can.